Good day, everyone. This is Mark Schmidt, Superintendent of Schools for Staples Motley, with a summary regarding last night's school board meeting, which took place on December 17th, 2012 at the Motley Media Center. The board meeting was called to order. There were no public forums or public presenters last night. The board approved the consent agenda item and then moved on to financial items. There were two significant financial items that took place last night. One of them was the Truth and Taxations hearing, which was presented by Marcy Lord, our business manager. Truth and Taxations is an annual report that our business manager presents to the public. That process works basically as follows. In September, the school board approves a preliminary levy. That preliminary levy then goes to the counties, and when you get your tax statements in November, that gives you the proposed levy for next year. That then gives you an opportunity to contact school board members on any questions or concerns you would have over your levies. Then following that is the Truth and Taxation hearing, which then allows people to come and learn more and also voice questions and concerns in a public forum with the full board regarding that. And that's how that process takes place annually. Now, last night, nobody from the general public was there to ask any questions or present concerns on the levy. And the levy, I'm going off of memory here. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe the levy was 4-point-some% increase. It might have been over 5, but that was the total levy increase from last year. Excuse me. The board then approved the final certification of the levy last night, and then moved on to Budget Revision 1, which Marcy presented. Budget Revision 1, or any budget revisions, are exactly that. They're revisions from the budget, and it gives us an opportunity to look and say, okay, we're about halfway through the fiscal year, about a third way through the school year. Our business office takes a look at the current finances of our district and makes adjustments to them, and just like you would in your home finances. How are we looking with our budget today versus how we were looking at our budget when the board initially approved the original budget in June? That was presented to the board. And the board approved that revision. The long and the short of that revision is that we have a projection of about $374,000 as a deficit for this year in our general fund unassigned. Next steps on that is going to be for Marcy and myself to look at what types of one-time versus long-term ongoing expenses we have in this budget that we can make for adjustments for next year. We also need to look at next year's revenues, building a potential what-if going into next year, and that then allows us to build a target number going into next year's budget. So, and I should have prefaced that. Marcy and I get together and we now start building what our budget is going to look like for next year. But we really needed to wait for the revision of revision 1 of this board meeting. The board then approved the annual resolution directing administration to make recommendations and reductions in programs and positions. This is a required resolution if we're going to make any reductions throughout the district. It should be noted that this resolution, it has more significance, especially when you look at our budget running potentially in the deficit this year. However, even if instead of a $370,000 deficit, even if that was a positive, we'd still be seeking that from the board. And that as an organization, we always need to be finding ways to seek efficiencies from one year, not only 1 week or day to the next, but 1 year to the next. And that's what that resolution allows the board to be able to do. The board then approved the sale of some old school vehicles, a Windstar, an old Chevy Ventura, and a 1994 Ford Tempo. And in all honesty, I think those have basically been bought for parts by people. but the board approved those sales. Those went out for closed bids earlier in the year. Personnel, the board then moved on to personnel items. They approved a grade change for Linda Beebe. Linda Beebe is going from a grade 8 to a grade 10 effective today, the 18th of December. And the main reason for that is the responsibility of her step increasing with going part-time with a network specialist. And Linda has really been, hats off to Linda, and just really doing an excellent job and being really that front person in our technology needs. Excuse me. The board approved then an increase in time for Stacy Fink for Little Cardinals Academy. Stacy had been being time carded 40 hours a week. She was contracted for 30 hours a week. This contract reflects actually the hours she has been working, so that results in an increase in her benefits, which is fair to Stacy. And this is a result of the growth in student numbers for Little Cardinals Academy, both in preschool as well as the toddler program. The board approved a contract for Janet Turgeon, who is a replacement for Andrea Cheerhurt. That is our vocational rehab counselor. We're really a flow-through from the state on that position. The board approved the retirement of Cheryl Mashuga. We wish Cheryl Mashuga all the best. Cheryl is our district RN. Following that, the board approved permission to post for a district RN. And there was some discussion on that from the board, in that do we need to hire a full-time RN? And per Minnesota statute, any district that has 1,000 or more students must have a full-time registered nurse. Excuse me. So the answer to that is yes. We must do that, and we have posted for that. We are then posting for an industrial arts position. This is for second semester. We're bringing machining back as an opportunity for children. We've been working with our local 3M plant and Central Lakes College to provide an instructor to come for a couple periods in the day for second semester to take machining on that. And we've been continuing to pursue that. The board then accepted a resignation for Deb Steriker in transportation. We wish Deb all the luck and best wishes, and permission to post for a full-time language speech pathologist. We don't have a need for a speech language pathologist as a full-time. We have need for about a half-time, but we have not been able to find a full-time position. We've been contracting with Lakewood Health. They haven't been able to find a position either, and the reason why we're posting for a full-time is even if we do find one, we can contract out the services we don't need to other districts. We could probably, in all reality, we could probably go out and hire 5-6 full-time speech language pathologists and contract them out the next day, because there's that type of need out there for them. So what I would encourage people is if you know of anyone that's in speech language pathology and looking for a position, please encourage them to apply. Board went on to a number of reports, as well as the principals, and I will just make mention of one of those reports, and that is as a follow-up to the tragic events that took place in Connecticut on Friday with the school shootings. Jason Lutzik, the elementary school principal, reminded the board that we continue to look at our safety procedures within our district. In the past number of years, when we did some construction remodeling projects, those were some of the safety issues we did in restricting general access to our buildings by the public and requiring them to first go through the office during the school day. We also continue our lockdown procedures and review our safety procedures in light of what has happened. But certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of Connecticut, and give us all a stark reminder of how important safety is for our children. With that, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If there's any questions or concerns you ever have about the district, please do not hesitate to call me or send me an email. Take care of everyone and have a wonderful day. Bye.